Hey there, champions of consumer research. I am Rishabh from Correlate Insights. In today's video, we'll explore different scaling techniques used in consumer and market research. Now, scales are the heart of how we measure consumer attitudes, perceptions, and preferences. So let's break them down one by one with practical examples from consumer research. First, the nominal scale. This is the most basic scale. It's just for labeling or categorizing data. There is no order, no ranking, just categories. For example, asking respondents their gender, city, or favorite brand. Number here don't have any meaning beyond labels. For example, 1 for male, 2 for female. That's it. Next, the ordinal scale. This is the scale that gives us order, but without knowing the distance between the ranks. Think of it as a race where you only know who came first, second, and third, but not how much faster first was as compared to second. In research, we often ask consumer to rank their top 3 product preference or the order of importance of product features. Now, we come to the most popular tool in consumer research, the Likert scale. This is the backbone of how we measure attitude, likability, and perception. Types of Likert scale. Likert scale usually comes in 5-point, 7-point, or even 10-point versions. Let's start with 5-point scale, which is most commonly used in consumer research. The points in scales are dislike it extremely, dislike it somewhat, neither like nor dislike, like it somewhat, and like it extremely. This format is very effective when we want to measure how much consumer like or dislike a product, an advertisement, or an experience. Now, in some cases, we use 7-point scales to capture more sensitivity. It adds extra layer in between. For example, 1 for dislike it extremely, 4 for neither like nor dislike, and 7 for like it extremely. This gives researchers finer details when measuring consumer attitudes, especially in product testing. And similarly, there are 10-point Likert scales, where rating go from 0 to 10. Like for 10-point scale, 0 means extremely dislike, 5 means neutral, and 10 means extremely like. This keeps survey clean and easy while maintaining the accuracy of measurement. When using 7-point or 10-point Likert scales, you don't always need to show every single point to the respondents. The interviewer must explain each scale point clearly so the respondent understand the difference. This is especially important in 7-point or 10-point Likert scales, where preference shifts gradually. For 5-point scale, all the options are shown and explained, but in longer scale, proper guidance avoids confusion and keep the responses consistent. Another version often grouped under Likert is bipolar scale. A bipolar scale is a measurement scale in which response options are arranged between two opposite ends of continuum, positive versus negative, allowing respondents to indicate both direction and intensity of their opinion, attitude, and intent. For example, a question can be, how likely are you to buy this new energy drink? Scale options are definitely will not buy, probably will not buy, may or may not buy, probably will buy, and definitely will buy. Respondent selects option that best reflects their purchase intention. These types of scales helps researcher determine which products, concepts, or variants have the highest market potential. Alongside Likert, we also use rating scales and rank order scales. In rating scales, respondent assigns a value, say from 1 to 10, to show how much they like an ad or product. In rank order scales, they are asked to arrange product or ads in their order of preference. These are especially common in ad testing, packaging test, and product concept studies. Progressive scale. A progressive scale is a measurement scale in which response options are arranged in logical ascending order, showing a progression from lowest level to the highest. Unlike Likert scale, which measures agreement or attitude, progressive scale measures how often a consumer engages with product or services. For example, a question can be, how often do you use online food delivery apps? Progressive scale options are never, rarely, once in a few months, occasionally, once a month, frequently, once a week, very frequently, multiple times in a week. Here, the scale moves progressively in one direction only, from no use to very frequent use. This allows researchers to quantify consumer behavior patterns and understand the intensity of engagement. Progressive scales are widely used in first is consumer behavior study, measuring how often a product is used. Second is service research to check usage frequency of apps and subscription. Third is market segmentation, identifying heavy, medium, and light users. By clearly defining each point, researchers get consistent and comparable data across respondents. Preference scale. A preference scale in research is a type of scale used to measure respondents' choice among two or more options. Instead of rating along the continuum like bipolar scale, it asks people to select or rank what they prefer most. For example, a question can be, how much do you prefer this new flavored milk compared to other available options in the market? And the scale options are 1 equally preferred, 2 equally to moderately preferred, 3 moderately preferred, 4th moderately to strongly preferred, and 5th strongly preferred. This way, each product is evaluated on its own preferences, not in comparison with another specific product. Preference scales are commonly used in first is concept testing to see which products consumer prefer the most. Second is marketing strategy to prioritize product or campaign based on consumer preference strength. Importance of wording. Finally, let's quickly talk about why wordings in scales is so important. The wording in each point must be standardized and not change from study to study. The options in scales are scientifically tested. So we should not change or invent the new ones. Only when there is a clear research logic, new options can be explored. Standardization ensures every respondent interprets the scale in same way, keeping the data reliable and comparable. If you change the wording, you risk biasing the responses. Also, interviewers must clearly explain all the scale points, as respondents don't think in numbers. Each point should be distinct, ambiguous, and no two points should sound similar. Usage of emojis as scales. In recent years, emojis have started to be used as scales in consumer research. These visual symbols can make surveys more engaging, intuitive, and easier to understand, especially for younger respondents or those less familiar with traditional survey formats. Emojis are particularly helpful in research with children under 12 years old, where written words or numbers might be difficult to interpret. For example, a simple set of smiley faces can represent a 5-point likability scale, as shown: very unhappy, unhappy, neutral, happy, very happy. This approach allows children to express attitude and preferences quickly, without needing to read or interpret complex wording. Beyond kids research, emojis are also being explored in consumer surveys to make experience more engaging for all age groups. Now let's quickly recap what we've covered today. Nominal scales classify consumer or product into categories. Ordinal scales rank preference but don't measure distance between them. Likert scale measure attitude and likability with 5, 7, and 10-point versions, including bipolar, rating, and rank order variations. A progressive scale is a scale in which responses are arranged in ascending order. A preference scale measures the degree of consumer choices. The wording of each scale point is very critical. Standardized wording ensures neutral midpoint and consistent interpretation across respondents. And finally, emojis offers a simple visual way to measure preference and emotions. By choosing right scales and keeping the wording precise, researchers can capture reliable and actionable insights about consumer behavior, preferences, and attitudes. Understanding scale is not just about measurement, it's about making your research meaningful and actionable. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share, and subscribe to Deep Dive Diaries for more such insightful videos.